Hypnosis for Better Living, removing the myths and misconceptions about the timeless, safe, natural, and effective process for personal change for health and happiness. With your host, Tom Nicoli, published author, NGH Board Certified Hypnotist, Certified Instructor, and Advisory Board member, and the director of a Better You Hypnosis Center in Woburn, Mass. and Salem, New Hampshire. Hello and welcome back to Hypnosis for Better Living. I'm your host, Tom Nicoli. And today we're going to speak to Tommy Vee. Now, Tommy Vee has been involved in hypnotism for a long time, and he's going to discuss that with us. But the beauty is that most people know two sides to hypnosis, or actually a lot of people know one side, and that is the demonstrational or stage hypnosis side of things. But Tommy not only is a performer, but also a clinician, where he works in the office helping people to achieve their goals and their issues, do things that they'd like to do that they're not, or stop doing things they are that they don't want to do. So let me just say, welcome, Tommy. It's good to have you here.
It's awesome to be here, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know that when people hear stage hypnotist, they start having some crazy thoughts. I'm not going up there to do that. Now, I've attended your show. You were gracious enough to invite me to one of your shows, and it was fantastic.
Thank you.
As always, the people have a ball. You know, you're so good at what you do. But would you just talk about a little bit of what stage hypnosis really is about, in that it isn't all this mind control you have over these people?
I wish we had that type of control. But you're right. When people see a stage show, if they've never seen it before, it looks like the hypnotist is controlling these people. They'll do just about anything that he or she tells them to do. And it's true, within reason. But they can stop anytime they want. They can reject any suggestion. They want to do those things. They know what they're doing. They follow along, and they follow suggestions, and they do almost anything that I ask them to do, within reason. If it brushes up against them the wrong way, they wouldn't do it. Sometimes during the show, somebody's doing everything along, and then I say, get up and dance like a ballerina, and they don't do it because they choose not to do it. The people
so they're still selective?
Yes.
Okay.
But once they accept the suggestion, then it'll be carried out.
Right.
But they can reject the suggestion before it gets into the subconscious. That's my idea anyways.
Well, that's really important, because a lot of people think, well, if I get up there, he's going to make me do things I don't want to do.
Right.
Now, it's only if it's with their ethics, their morals, or something they normally would do or don't mind doing, as you're explaining it.
Yes.
And there is no control, so therefore, they're aware of what you're saying. Well, like I say to people, well, they have to hear him, or how are they?
They're not unconscious.
You know, how are they going to carry out that suggestion? And they also have the option to either choose to or not.
Correct.
So it's kind of like they get this freedom to let loose that inner part of self that they contain a lot of times, as long as it's okay.
Correct. Their inhibitions go by the wayside.
Right.
And the people that are afraid of it may have seen a bad show or a dirty show.
Right.
There are X-rated and R-rated hypnotists out there, and they do that show, and there's a market for that, but I never do those things because I want people to leave the stage with the feeling that they would do it again without being embarrassed. Because if you see a dirty show and you're in the audience, people say, that's funny, but I'm glad I'm not up there.
Right.
If you're in the show, a lot of people leave that show saying, I'll never do that again.
Right.
But with my show, I treat them with respect, we have a blast, and they leave and they want to do it again. And the audience often is in awe when they see the power of hypnosis.
Sure.
And then they call up my office and they say, I'd like to come in to stop biting my nails.
Now, I want to talk about that, but what do you mean by bad show?
A dirty show.
Okay.
Swearing, the hypnotist is swearing, they do obscene things on stage, R-rated and X-rated scenarios, which I never do. And the nice thing is you don't have to do those things to get a laugh. My show is clean and people laugh their butts off.
It's the funniest thing when somebody's looking for their belly button, and then when you ask them, what do you need it for? And they don't know why I need it, but I want it.
Right.
I want my belly button back.
Right. That's what makes the show, the subject's responses.
Yeah.
You mentioned the belly button. I've heard this many times over the years, over 22 years, at different shows. What do you need your belly button for? And I've heard this. You can tell me if it's true. They say, I lay in bed, I fill it up with salt, and I dunk my celery in while I'm watching TV. Now, I don't know if that's an urban legend, but we've heard it many times over the years.
Right.
So what they say makes the show. And you never know what they're going to say.
Well, that's the beauty. You know, and early on, when I first started, actually, a little over 12 years ago, my intention
was to do stage hypnosis.
I know you did some shows.
Yeah, and when I went and talked to one of the certified instructors for the NGH, he started talking to me about the clinical side of it all and helping people, and I just took to that. But I still went out as a performer, as a musician. I went out and did some shows, and it was just amazing. I mean, totally amazing. And yet, it's amazing how people will reframe what you tell them to suit them, where I remember having a young boy give birth. It was a high school show, a church show with a bunch of high school students. And I had him giving birth, and these girls were the nurses. But you see, he reframed it his way, and when the baby came out, I said, "What is it?" And I meant boy or a girl, right? He went, "A football." So he reframed it to be something suitable to him.
Right.
And it was so uncanny that one of the girls wouldn't look. And I said, "But you're a nurse, aren't you?" "Yeah." "Doing it for years, haven't you?" "Yeah." "Why don't you look?" She goes, "That's disgusting." So still, people are acting the way they would act.
And those responses brought the house down. The football, they must have died laughing.
And funny enough, one of the gentlemen that I've certified in one of my certification courses, his son is friends with that kid who had the football. And he told me about it, and it's like, wow, small world, right?
Yeah.
So now, you work with people in this entertainment way, doing stage hypnosis, safe, respectful, and I've seen it. I mean, I think the most disrespectful thing you did, which isn't disrespectful, is when you told the guy he couldn't find his mouth, but he was so thirsty. He was a big guy with the beard.
Right.
He was so thirsty, and he was putting the bottle all over the place, but the cap was on. When you took the cover off, he still went and poured on himself. I thought, whoa, okay, but he didn't mind.
Right, he didn't care.
That was funny.
The water went everywhere.
But now, these people, do they segue into becoming office clients?
Sometimes. And even the people in the audience, because they're seeing the power of hypnosis. Oh my God, those people are under his control, and it's okay when someone comes in the office thinking you have this power, and that's, I think, sometimes a good thing.
Sure.
And you and I know we don't have a power. We know how to harness the power of hypnosis, which is within them.
Within them.
So, but when somebody comes to your office because they were amazed by the power of hypnosis, they're already preconditioned for success.
Right.
A lot of times.
Right.
They're home free.
Exactly.
They're already sold on it. If somebody comes just out of the yellow pages, it's a different scenario. They don't know anything about hypnosis. They might not know.
And that's the whole explanation. We go through it so often, and people, if they would just do a little bit of research, and I ask them to before they come, I want them to research me, be sure you know who you're coming to and why, and about the process, not because somebody said. Because this way they have a comfort, like you said, they have the comfort, they're not full of the myths and misconceptions, and it saves us a lot of time because we spend so much of that pre-talk time in the beginning of the first session removing all the myths and misconceptions, and it's amazing, isn't it?
It is. Everybody's got a different preconception of what they think hypnosis is. You know, somebody saw a show, someone saw a good show, a dirty show, someone saw something on television that some people think they're going to be asleep, they won't hear anything.
I'll be out like a light.
Yeah. And so we try to do the pre-talk and tell them, I often tell people it feels like this, close your eyelids for a minute. Okay, open your eyes. It's almost like that. You know where you are, but you don't care. You just relax. It's like daydreaming. That's all it is, daydreaming.
You know, daydreaming with intention.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you see people for in your office in order to help them make these I call it personal change for personal freedom?
Okay. The basic ones, weight loss, stop smoking, and stress.
Okay.
But also I do a lot of passing exams. I work with a lot of lawyers. Mass School of Law is right in Andover, and we get a lot of referrals. I've had students come who have failed the bar exam 3, 4, and 5 times. I had a man come in his 50s, failed 5 times, but working in a law office but not in full capacity. He was like a paralegal. So he was down in the dumps, very skeptical about hypnosis, and after failing 5 times, what do you think in your mind? How can I pass?
Sure.
You have expectation now.
Sure.
He came in 3 sessions, he passed. So the people still have to do the homework, but we help them become relaxed during the test.
Right.
Because a lot of times they're afraid of it, and we have to change that. The test is your opportunity, not a problem. An opportunity to show the state what you know about law.
Yep.
So if you've studied, then you deserve to go in with confidence, and when you're relaxed, the information flows. How many times have you ever done this? Probably in school. I've done it. You walk out of the test, now I remember everything.
Absolutely.
It was there, but it was blocked because you were nervous.
Absolutely.
So we help them be relaxed.
Well, it's like the name on the tip of your tongue.
Right.
Keep trying, you're
Right.
not going to get it. But
Right.
and it is really cool, isn't it? You know, some of the, like what you just said, I've worked with state troopers or
Right.
policemen or firemen, postal exams, licensed social worker. I mean, you name it. If it's a test and they can move forward in their life and it's something they desire, it seems that the stress they put upon themselves blocks everything. And it's like you said, one of the three in the beginning, stress. We help them to remove the stress, and you also said build their confidence.
And change their outlook. And the test is an
perception of it.
opportunity, not a problem.
That's right. Well, a test is nothing more than information you already know on a new piece of paper.
That's cool. May I use that?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
You. That's good.
You know, that's a great reframe, right?
Oh, it is.
So I mean, think about that. Even high school students or any student, they did the homework, they did the classwork, they asked the questions when they didn't know, they went and did the homework again. Now they know how to do it.
Right.
It's information you already know on a new piece of paper.
So if you didn't study, then you have the right to be nervous.
Yeah.
So if you're prepared,
shame on you.
Right. The preparation meets success.
Now, when you do the stage shows, in some of the demonstrations, or I'll say skits, we'll call them
routines.
that. Routines,
Okay.
right. Do you tie in and say to the audience, now see what we just did here, now we can do something
Absolutely.
like this in the office?
I always promote clinical hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing a show near my office, I'll say, by the way, Valley Hypnosis down the road.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm out of town, maybe in your town, I would say, by the way, look up a certified hypnotherapist, somebody that's certified, go see them.
Right.
And then I will mention it a few times during the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the power comes from within you. If you really want to make a change, go see a hypnotist.
So when you do something like somebody knows their name, but they just can't say it, and they sound like they're stammering,
Mm-hmm.
that's the opportunity to tell people, now some people do have the stammer, and this will also help remove that.
Right. I do a routine with name amnesia, and then at the end, I will have somebody stutter or stammer. And then I explain it. I want to explain to the audience, ladies and gentlemen, the only reason for the purpose of this experiment was not to make fun of anybody who stammers, but to show you that if hypnosis could cause this, maybe it could remove it. Maybe. So it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's no guarantee.
No.
We never know what all the underlying issues are. And a lot of people think it's so magical. Once on a news program I was interviewed on, I used the line that's been used a lot. It's magical, but it's not magic, right?
I use that too.
Yeah, it's not
That's
magic.
great, but it can be magical.
It's magical.
Right.
Because it's safe, natural, effective, it's expedient, and it's amazing. And there's something that I'd like everyone to understand. Nothing replaces anything else. We work in concert, don't we, with all the other medical and mental health professionals. And it's not like we're looking to replace anyone or say this is the panacea. It's another alternative, an approach to personal health.
It's another tool, sure.
Right.
And when people call up on the phone, they say, does this really work? Well, can I really stop smoking? My answer is it works if you want it to work.
Well, isn't that the first part of it all, desire?
You have to have the desire to make the change. Some people come in, as you know,
Expecting
we're the
magic.
last resort. They want you to make, you know, you do the wand and make it disappear.
Right.
You know, I'm a smoker, make me quit.
Right.
And somebody came up to me last week, they said, can you make me quit? I said, no, I can't make you, I can help you. And you can like smoking, you know, and I have people that come in that like it, but they want to stop.
Right.
And I used to smoke too, so, you know, if you like this thing, you're 50 years old now, you like this, but is it worth it anymore? You know, things are different now. You're older, you've got kids, whatever. So you make the reasons for quitting more important than what you like about smoking.
Right.
And you can stop. People stop right away.
Changing that whole perception.
That's right. So the shows work good for hypnosis. My shows are clean. I promote clinical hypnosis, and I think it helps. The dirty shows, I don't do them, and that's where we get a bad name sometimes.
Well, it's true. It does affect the profession in a negative light, doesn't it? And everything has its place.
Right.
But unfortunately, a lot of people will tie one thing into everything.
Correct.
Now, where have you actually done your shows? You know, the stage demonstrations, and I know you've done everything from local schools to fairs, big fairs, to all kinds of things. What are some of the things you've done?
I've been in Canada. When I first started, I did a lot of festivals up there and fairs, Nova Scotia, Quebec, Queon, And then throughout the United States, we just got back from Las Vegas, training stage hypnotists, where I did a show with my dad, Jerry Valley. We did a two-man show, which is unique.
It is.
And then I went to visit one of the stage hypnotists.
Terry Stokes.
Right.
Right.
On the Strip.
Yep.
And
I saw him a few years ago out there.
Yeah. And what does he do? He invites, not only introduces me, which is very gracious or generous, he invites me on stage, gives me the microphone, leaves the stage, and lets me do a few routines.
Wow.
That's very generous.
That is.
So I performed in Vegas. This January I was in Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands.
Nice.
Doing a few shows down there, down in Georgia and in London too.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll go anywhere. People say, will you go to Japan? Sure.
Well, sure. We like those working vacations.
That's right. You know, it's a profession where you can have fun, get paid to have fun.
And the beauty is, we're not the entertainment.
No, the people are.
Exactly.
Right. And as a stage hypnotist, I'm totally dependent on the people in my show. I have great subjects, great show. So-so subjects, so-so show.
Yeah. Well, there's a question that I have. How do you get those people out of the chairs to sit up there on that stage under the lights?
Right, right. Well, I mean, some shows are easy. College, piece of cake.
Kids love
but
it.
Corporate shows, you have to, your introduction's got to be a little bit longer.
My boss is in the audience.
Yeah. You know, they're all co-workers, they're lawyers or whatever.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with them and tell them, hey, anybody have stress out here? You want to be a better golfer? And I tell them up front, folks, this is the truth. I never, ever embarrass anybody. You get into this, here's my promise, you get into this, and if I keep you up here, because I'm going to limit the group, I'm going to eliminate some, which creates the need that I want to make the cut.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep a certain group up here, and if you stay the whole show, you're going to feel the best you have in a long time. I promise you that. Stress will be wiped out. So I make it like they want to be up there with me. And I just
There's
shoot
benefit.
Yeah. And I tell them that this is a clean show, we have fun, and come on up, and they come up.
And then after the show, even in those, say, corporate environments, and you can understand their apprehension.
Sure.
I mean, you know, you really can, right? Because they're not sure what's going to go on. Do you find that some of the people actually after wish they had gone up?
Oh, yeah. They say, my friends had a great time. They say, hypnotize me now in the hallway. I'm like, I'm too tired. I'm drained after a show. You know that, and then we got to drive home or whatever. So they say, hypnotize me now. And the sole purpose of a stage hypnotist is to entertain, not to convince.
Right.
Just to entertain. People laughed, great, that's what you're hired for. So some people come up after the show and they say, I didn't believe 1 minute of that, but I had a blast. That's okay.
What wouldn't they believe? That it was real?
Yeah, they think the people are plants.
Even though they know them?
Even though they know them, or they you know, you could light a torch under someone's arm,
Sure.
and they still wouldn't believe that that's real fire. So there are people, the skeptics, they say, I didn't believe it, but I had a blast.
And like
Fine.
you said, not up to you to convince them.
Right. Then another person will come up and say, I didn't believe any of this before the show, but now I'm a believer and I had a great time.
Right.
So you get both, but you're just there to entertain.
Do you ever get people who are actually skeptical, but they're courageous, open, willing, whatever the word applies to that person, enough to go up and try it out?
Sure.
And after they think, I can't believe it.
I've had a lot of people come up and say, I don't know if I can do it, and they're the first ones that are in it.
Right, right, right.
Same thing in the office. I don't know if I can be hypnotized, I'm not sure, and then at the end of the session they go, wow. I go,
Let's talk about that. I don't
Okay.
know if I could be in it. I'm